Welcome back to Data Protection Diaries, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome to 2022. This is the first video of the year, so thank you very much for joining us. As always, if you are new to the channel, please do make sure that you subscribe. There's a little logo down in the bottom left right hand corner, you'll see it. If you click on that, you can then subscribe quickly and easily to the channel. Also make sure that you hit the little notification bell so then you'll be told when videos come out. We are going to be aiming to do one video a week this year, coming out on a Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. So that is the aim, so make sure that you're ready for that. Of course, if you're not new to the channel, thank you very much for joining us again and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be having a little look at what 2022 may well hold in terms of privacy, what kind of trends are going to be coming down the line, and what things may well be going on. Basically, I've trawled the internet to find out what everyone else is thinking, pulled together the top 5 things so that you don't have to do it. So the first thing that everybody is talking about for 2022 is, of course, are we going to have a federal US data protection law? So one data protection law that covers the whole of the US and a federal based law that all states follow, and we don't have all these kind of nuances like we do with the CCPA and lots of other things and New York privacy laws and everything else. Now, the short answer from what I can see and from the information that I've been reading and the viewpoint of a lot of other people is it is very, very unlikely. I do think it would be very, very good. I think it's a very, very sensible place for the US to get to, but is it likely going to happen this year? No. Is it likely going to happen next year? Probably not. You do have to remember that Joe Biden is only midway through his presidency. You've got a pandemic to come out of. We've got inflation issues. There are supply chain problems. There's a lot of other stuff for the president to be worrying about. And those things, whether we think it's right or not, are more than likely going to take precedence over any kind of federal privacy law. As I say, I do think it's a good thing, so I'm definitely not against it, but I just don't think we're going to see anything happening in that kind of realm in the next year, possibly the next 2 years. Up next, there has been a lot of stories around the changes that tech companies, specifically people like Facebook, YouTube, so Google, and TikTok are making to make their platforms safer and easier for children to use so that they're not being targeted by advertising, so that their data is not being shared and information is not being passed around in a manner which you would not expect it to be when it relates to a child. There have already been some changes coming out from YouTube, so if a video for children is made and put onto YouTube, so if a video is made specifically for people under the age of 18, then it is automatically not shown certain types of advertising, and that advertising is now managed in a different fashion. They are also looking at implementing rules, I believe, on TikTok and how videos are managed and processed for younger users on TikTok. It's very, very easy for you to just say, oh, this is my birthday, and ramp it up to the point where it looks like you're 16, and who's really going to follow that? Who's really going to have a check on that? So it does look like there is going to be a much greater push towards that. Protection of children online is obviously incredibly important. Tech companies, from some of the articles that I'm seeing, tech companies are potentially seeing that as an opportunity to kind of close the ranks, keep data themselves, and actually use it to benefit their businesses, potentially not necessarily looking to benefit the individual, but looking at how they can consume data and how they can keep an audience better. But we'll see. I don't think regulating advertising to children is a bad thing in any way, shape or form. They get enough of that from other places. I do think we need to be aware of what children are looking at, what kind of information is being pushed to them, because they are going to be on tech more and more as we move forward. The next trend that is obviously coming down the line is going to be a significant increase just in general in global privacy laws. We're already starting to see privacy laws coming out in China, obviously various laws across the US. changes in Europe with the UK leaving the European Union, fleshing out their own version of the UK GDPR, and lots of other countries starting to implement their own privacy laws as well. The main common theme here still seems to be that people are using the GDPR, or countries are using the GDPR as their kind of test base, as their kind of platform for launching their own laws, but that tends to be where people are leaning towards. I think there is going to be huge benefit moving forward in making sure that all of these laws are aligned in some way, shape or form. Obviously, you're never going to get everybody to agree. That is just the nature of international law. Everybody wants to do their own thing. But if everybody can start working towards the same kind of basic guiding principles for the use and management and protection of information, then I think we're going to be in a really good place. But having said that, tech companies, the way information is being used, the way organizations, countries, cultures, regulators, the way everybody's looking at information, I think it's very clear that we are going to see a lot of new privacy laws coming out across the globe over the next year, maybe the next 18 months. So if you're a privacy pro, you are working hard out there in the world, you're going to have to keep your eyes peeled because there's going to be a lot of changes. Of course, it wouldn't be a UK-based data protection channel if we didn't talk about the appointment of the new Information Commissioner, John Edwards. So John Edwards is now in position here in the UK. He is the new Information Commissioner. Now, previously, John was the Commissioner over in New Zealand. I say over in New Zealand like it's just over there. It's not, it's obviously on the other side of the world. They had a different approach to possibly what we had here with Elizabeth Denham. Elizabeth Denham arguably took a very commercially focused approach. She looked like she was trying to run the ICO more as a business rather than a public authority or a public function. Is that going to change? Is the kind of viewpoint of organisations that John is going to want to target change? Potentially. Are we going to see an increase in fines? Are we going to see an increase in enforcement? A move away from just targeting organisations for PECA potentially? I don't know. I would like to see there being more enforcement against organisations in general around breaches of data protection laws, rather than always concentrating on people sending spam and marketing emails, etc. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I would like to see some changes though, but it's going to be an interesting 12 months and to see what John does as he settles into his new role. The final thing that everybody seems to be talking about on my searches today is of course the fallout, or the continued fallout, from Schrems 2 and the changes to international data transfers. Now, the US are still talking to the European Commission and the European Parliament about how they can come to some kind of agreement about making Privacy Shield, again, making it work, making sure that everybody is going to be compliant. I don't think anybody really has an answer to this. There are some very, very clever people working very, very hard to try and create a solution. But essentially for me, you've got two different entities with two very different viewpoints on how the world works and how they want to use and process information. And I just don't know how you're going to get those two entities to kind of come to an agreement. I think there's going to have to be some compromise. I don't think people are going to like the compromise, and I do think we're then just going to kind of end up going round in circles. Now, the big problem with that is, of course, for business, e-commerce, international trade, international data transfers, it causes a headache for everybody. Nobody really knows what they're supposed to be doing. Nobody really understands what standard contractual clauses they should be using. And unless you're deep in this, in the privacy space, it really is a nightmare for a lot of organizations. So whatever happens, I do hope that this year, especially, they can come to some kind of agreement, they can get something in place, and they can make it easier for organizations to understand, because at the minute we just run the risk of everybody not being compliant, not through not wanting to be compliant, or not through not wanting to put the effort in, simply from just not knowing what it is that they're supposed to be doing. As always, this is a fairly succinct view on the world. This is just my take on the stuff that I've seen online, the stuff that people are talking about, the articles, the kind of viewpoints that people are taking. If you've got a different viewpoint, if there's something else that you think, is there a particular emerging trend that you think is going to come out through 2022, please do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. If there's a particular topic that you would like us to cover, particular approach that you'd like us to take this year on the channel, please do let us know. And again, comment down below. Of course, whatever you do, do make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit like on this video, hit the notification bell. We look forward to seeing you again next week.